And I will tell you very bluntly that I do not believe at this point either Ukraine, which is fighting for its life, or Russia, which is fighting a war of annihilation against a sovereign country that has done nothing to offend it except to be free and try to be democratic. Neither of them have an incentive for a ceasefire or peace negotiations. There have been a number of potential mediators who, for good or less good reasons, including personal vanity perhaps, the case of some, I won't name names, have offered their good services, their good offices of mediation, and have been rebuffed. There have been attempts at making security guarantees from the West, or at least trying to sketch those out. I think those have remained unconvincing to the parties in the conflict. Ukraine, I think, understandably refuses at this point to contemplate such negotiations given the war crimes Russia is committing on a daily basis. And I will say also, and you're probably not surprised at this point at my taking side, Vladimir Putin, the dictator of Russia, is not to be believed, not to be trusted, and would use a pause, a ceasefire, or negotiations to regroup and attack again. Just today, the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, it will be necessary for an order to be given to Ukrainian military to lay down all weapons, and they must fulfill all Russia's demands. That's not how you enter into negotiations for a ceasefire, much less peace negotiations. So I'm afraid, and here the word I'm afraid is not just a polite turn of phrase, what we're looking at is scenarios of escalation. I think it's very likely that we're going to see more war crimes as Russian troops progress. And even if they're ground to a halt by Ukrainian resistance, given that they've gotten more and heavier weapons from us, that will continue to happen. There is a real risk of this war spilling over beyond the borders of Ukraine to a small and defenseless country like Moldova, which is between Ukraine and Romania. And Romania is a member of both the European Union and NATO. And of course, I'm sure many of you know that Vladimir Putin has been dangling the threat of the use of nuclear weapons in the battlefield in front of us numerous times now, and for months. And let's just say here that that already is a civilizational breach. This is the first time a major power since 1945, well, let's say 1946, has threatened the use of nuclear power in Europe. So what you're seeing here right now is a very complex battlefield. And what you're seeing is different clocks running at different times. You have the Russians grinding away at Ukrainian resistance, Ukrainians trying to push back, and us trying to help them. The Russians hope that the Ukrainians' resistance and our resources will be exhausted before they are finished with theirs. We hope it'll be the other way around. At the same time, the Russians are blockading all of Ukraine's ports, not allowing grain and other Ukrainian exports to reach world markets. We are trying to crush Russia's economy with sanctions and through decoupling from Russian fossil fuel imports. Who will be first? Right now, hard to say. You can see signs on both sides that this is working or not working. And you're seeing political clocks running against each other. Western summits with very strong messaging, and you're seeing non-Western countries saying, you sure you want to do this? To quote a piece by Rajan Menon on Foreign Affairs. You sure? You sure you can do this? And I think it is it is important for us to be aware that much hangs in the balance right now.